Hello and welcome to Weekly Wind Up with me, Dave Hodgson. Now, this week I'm joined by Pat Burgess. Pat comes from the Marsden Remembers Project. So Pat, what has Marsden forgotten?
I don't think Marsden ever quite forgot World War One, but this was obviously an appropriate time to remember it properly.
Yeah. So tell us about some of the events, particularly the one that's just happened, honestly, at the beginning of November, wasn't it?
Yes, we've been tolling the bell in Marsden Church on the 100th anniversary of the deaths of all 148 soldiers who died from the locality. But we had three men for whom we had no real information, and certainly we didn't know the dates that they actually died.
Just names?
Yes, yeah. So we weren't even sure of all of the names. One of them is just T. Jones. We have no further information.
Not even a Christian name.
No. And so we decided that on Saturday the 11th of November would be an appropriate time to do the bell tolling for those three gentlemen.
Yes,
and
yes.
As it seemed appropriate.
Indeed so. So how did your organisation come to be, as it were, in the first place?
Well, it's really from St Bartholomew's Church in Marsden. The initial idea was one of our church members, Val France, Val's actually one of our church wardens now, and the idea was to put flesh on the bones of the names that we have on the war memorial in church and the one in the park, the public one in Marsden Park, because we just have initials, it's just A blogs. You don't even know their full name.
No.
The names are very much still in use in the village, so we knew there must be relatives in the village.
Indeed. Well, you tend to get the same names cropping up,
you
don't
do.
you, right through the ages.
Yes, indeed, yes. So we successfully applied for a grant from the Heritage Lottery Fund, and we started the research, and we launched the first part of the exhibition in July 2014, and we update it each year. We actually put more information on relating to the particular year. So in 2016 we were looking at the men who died during 1916, and we've just taken down the information for 1917. The church is actually very large. St Bartholomew's Church is very big. So along one side we have all the information that we've been able to glean for the men who died, and along the other side we have information about the social aspects of the war, the effects of the war on the local community, on the textile industry, on food shortages, and just the general effects on the home front, essentially.
Yes. The number that you have said that died, there must have been a lot of families bereaved.
Yes.
How did the service that you've just had, and the year before for that matter, how was it received by the people of Marsden?
Very well. We have a visitors book. We've had about 2,500 visitors over the period of time that we've been open since 2014, and we have some very moving tributes in our visitors book. People who have actually come in and discovered relatives that they didn't know that they had. And we've even actually been able to join families together. On one occasion we found that some people had just gone out asking for some information, and within 5 minutes another couple came in asking about the same person, and it turned out they were cousins. They lived in the village, but they didn't actually know.
They didn't know one another.
They didn't know they were related.
Some
So it's quite interesting.
Strange happenings.
Yes.
Let's look forward now. What is it that the group hopes to achieve in the long term?
So we produced this leather-bound book, which is in a lovely oak case. So that obviously will stay in St Bartholomew's Church in perpetuity.
Did that come as part of your grant?
Yes, it did. The grant
good.
paid for that, and it paid for the initial launch of the actual exhibition. And then the whole thing will come to an end. We're already doing research into 1918, and then the whole thing will come to an end on Armistice Day in 2018, which is on a Sunday. There will be a special service, Obviously that will be the end of the actual exhibition as such.
Yes.
But we're hoping, we do have copies of the main book, and certainly one will be in the local library.
That's good, because it would be a shame to let the memory of that fade.
Of course it would, yes. We have found other information beyond the book actually, so that might be updated as well.
Yes, yeah, that's great. Well, that's absolutely wonderful, and I'm assuming that Marsden is still dodging the odd film company coming and closing all your roads, but I suppose you can cope with that, can't you?
I'm sure we can.
How can people get in touch with your group if they'd like to join and have some positive things that they'd like to do to help?
Well, we have a Facebook page, not surprisingly. It's just called Marsden Remembers. If you look for that on Facebook, you can tick on that and you'll see what we're doing.
I know a lot more about Marsden now than I did before I met you. Thank you very much indeed for coming in, because unfortunately that's all we've got time for in this episode of Weekly Wind-Up. Thanks to Pat for coming in and joining us and giving us all this wonderful information, and thanks to you for watching as well. Dave Hodgson for KLTV. Bye-bye.